Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning market report. We got a lot of green going on the daily, a lot of green on the hourly. It looks like right now, 10-year yields pulling back. Nasdaq, S&P, and the Dow Jones all opening to the upside on the market open. So maybe we can get a breakout of this area. As the thumbnail said, this is where your mom buys Bitcoin. Maybe we can get a breakout of that area. I don't think the market knows. I don't think they do either. Let's go ahead and let's jump in on the other chart that I want to show you guys, because this is the zone that I'm talking about right here. We're in the area where your mom buys Bitcoin and then it pulls back and she gets wrecked. I was actually called out on a challenge yesterday on X to enter a short, and I'll show you that. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at the economic data. The housing numbers just came in today, and we got special guest BC Port Corp, aka Blackie Chan, in the house with us today. It's Friday, guys. Let's get it. Class is in session. Good morning to everyone that is joining us in the chat. Shout out to all of you. I see Alexander G in the house. I see Crux in the house, but I'm not going to go through the list, because if I did, I would still TradeFly's favorite thing to do. Let's go ahead and bring out the entire panel. It's the OC guy. It's TradeFly. It is Blackie Chan in the house with us. What is up, fellas? How you guys doing?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to get it started. Got my legendary aviation coffee. If you're not doing that, you ain't doing it right. It's delicious. But as Piper said, I want to get over the chat, say what's up to everybody. First in the chat is Ada Ace, and he said he is first. Kyle Fields with a yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Username, our man. He is I'm gonna start thinking about maybe making him a mod. He is here. He is old faithful. So username, you keep showing up, man. We might graduate you. Retro Mike Tech in the house. He said, what's up? And let's see. Ninja Glock, how you doing? BC Corp, of course, he's on the show, but he's still showing some love in the chat. Alexandra G, the best mod in the house, and she is everywhere. We love her very much. Go ahead, throw some emojis down in the chat. John Foster Crypto, how you doing, my man? Bucks in the house, my dude, my Marine. Druxter Crypto with the yo, how you doing? I'm gonna get him on the nightcap here soon. Crypto Candy waving, hi, how are you? Waving back to you. And then I think that Harp, he's sliding in there. And then OC, of course, he's right next to me. What's up, my dude? How you doing?
Did you see real fast before you get to there? Did you see the comment that was made by Retro Mike Tech? I believe it was. He said, "Crux, shout out to your mama Kamala." So there you go. It's a horrible, horrible thing.
That
and
that
BC
ain't right.
Port Corp,
That
it's
ain't right.
his mama's too. It's his mama too. So
Good Lord.
what's up, OC?
Where did we go?
What's up, OC? How you doing, man? You're muted. Hey, you're muted. It's Friday.
I need to get started fast. Oh, I was saying that we are with a badass of crypto guys right here. These two guys. Wait, the other way around. There we go. So, like back in my hometown city, we have morning classes and then afternoon classes, and always the afternoon guys. We're the badass guys afternoon. So, shout out to the badass guys of crypto on Piper Academy. So welcome.
Yeah, it was a good show this morning, BC. Welcome to the morning market report. You just got done doing Good Morning Crypto a little while ago. It was a good show this morning, though. I went back and watched your full breakdown on Tesla, talking about that, and that's pretty interesting. It is kind of scary if you consider that this is the first time that their self-driving cars have been investigated by the highway safety board there, and you're not going to have a steering wheel and cabs. You're absolutely right. So if you guys haven't watched it yet, first of all, go watch the Good Morning Crypto with Blackie Chan, BC Port Corp, aka and Lunar Beach's Crypto over there. They had a really, really great show this morning. But how are you doing today, man? And what's up?
I'm doing pretty good. Get a little break from power washing heavy machinery. So I'm taking full advantage of it. I'm looking to make a trade today.
Awesome.
Gotta make money no matter what.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and knock out some economic data and some news here, and then we're going to come back around. We're going to look at quite a few charts because we got 4 amazing analysts here today with us. So let's go ahead and jump over to the news, talk about that, and then we'll come back and take a look at these charts. Be right back to you guys. BC Port Corp, that's your cue. You know what to do. Let's jump over here. All right, guys, taking a look at the news, all the news that's fit to be news here. First of all, I have to ask, what in the fallopian tubes is going on here with Solana's new token? You guys see that ad right there, backed by Solana? I'm not sure what that is. It's an AI architecture thing, but I want to know what the hell is going on with that that icon logo. Anyways, guys, Fear and Greed is currently sitting at 58 right now. It's in neutral. Market cap is sitting at 2.32 trillion dollars, up 0.79%. Let's go jump over into the bubbles, take a look there, give it a little refresh. Give it a look-see, as TradeFly would say, but I need to give it a refresh and get it all restructured here to my smaller screen. Here we go. Floki up 7.5%. Mog up 8.2%. Beam is up 8%. Doge is up 10.1%. Athena is up 7.5%. Looks like Brett's up 6.9%. Those are our big movers. Hex, Maker, and Nero all dropping to the downside there, at least 4% plus. Let's jump down and see what Bitcoin's sitting at right now. Bitcoin is sitting at $67,835. It is up 1.6% on the daily. Ethereum sitting at $2,615, and it is up 0.68 on the daily. Let's see, any other big movers? Dogecoin, we talked about that, up 10.1%, sitting at 13.34. Chainlink, shout out to the Link Marines. I am the unofficial first sergeant of the Link Marines. It is 3.1% to the upside on the daily right now. And then it looks like Pepe is sitting up 2.4%. Not a lot of huge movers today, guys, but it's just kind of that boring grind. Why? Because we're kind of stuck in a range, and it's a decision point within that range right now. So, let's go over here and take a look at the economic data that came out this morning, guys. We had building permits, preliminary building permits, and then the building permits month over month that got released. First of all, on the building permits, you can see here, it was actually came in at 1.428 million new building permits, was currently at previously at 1.47 million. They expected that it would be down a little bit, 1.46 million on the consensus and that forecast, coming in quite a bit below that, about 0.04 million there. So it is down, I won't say significantly. It is down enough that it is a cause for construction concern. And then looking at building permits month over month, they had it at 4.6. They thought it would be down about 0.1%. It actually came in down 2.9%. Housing starts, guys, also didn't come in as low as what they were looking at on the consensus. Came in a little bit higher than that, 0.004 million, but it did come in lower than the forecast and lower than what it previously was. Housing starts slowing down. I got a little thing about that anyway, so let's go over here and take a look at X marks the spot, and we will talk about this. Let me get there. There we go. So this came in yesterday in the KBC letter. Just in, U.S. mortgage applications have dropped 17% over the last week, the most since April 2020. At the same time, the refinancing index fell by 26.3%, posting the biggest decline since March of 2020. This comes after mortgage rates have increased for the third straight week, with the 30-year fixed rate reaching 6.52%. Told you guys, 50 basis points was not going to cut these rates on homes and autos. It's based off the 10-year yield, and that is what is keeping these up. It's actually increasing for the third week in a row. On top of that, the mortgage purchase applications recorded its worst September since 1994. And as a result, the mortgage demand index is down about 60% since January 2021 peak and sits at the near the lowest level in 29 years. Mortgage demand is collapsing, and we're seeing that right there with those numbers not looking good. There was another thing I wanted to talk about in here. No, we'll get back to that later if we have time. Let's talk about this in X marks the spot, because yesterday, shout out to Jason Pizzino. If you guys don't know who Jason Pizzino is, I follow him. He's got some pretty good things that he does on shows and stuff. But he said, statistically, the worst time to short markets is at the all-time highs. But that doesn't stop people from trying every single time. Contrary to popular belief, these all-time high breakouts are statistically the best times to go long. It almost goes against logic. However, logically speaking, can we get that to open? Logically speaking, there is now resistance. There is now no resistance standing in the way of price. Here's how not to miss the moves, and he has a whole video on it. saying that we broke it out. And I said, come
I
on, bro.
disagree.
I said, come on, bro. The last two all-time high breaks have led to a 33% retracement and a 70% retracement. Do some back testing. Don't cherry pick your data. And so here's where it gets really interesting. He says, let me go back to my my bookmarks here, because I got called out from one of his viewers, one of his members. So he says. Go short and post the receipts. I dare you. So there you go, dude. Have a great weekend. Come check out my channel for more daring trades. Piper Academy, 90.67% trade there on my short. So I hope that he enjoyed that. But yeah, that's what happens when you dare me. I will prove you wrong.
Nobody does it better.
So that's what I got there for that stuff. I do have some news articles and stuff. We'll kind of sprinkle those throughout the show today, but I want to get into some TA and start talking about some charts, because right now we might be trying to break out of that range that I talked about previously, and that he was talking. He said there's no resistance. I'm going to show you where that resistance is. But let's jump into that chart, and then we'll come back around. TradeFly, get that heat map ready, bro. Let's talk about that too.
It's
all right, guys.
It's ready.
It's always ready. It's like the Hulk. Here's this resistance line that I've been talking about, guys, and it is the zone where your mom buys Bitcoin. You guys have heard me say that numerous times now. We got a rejection off of it last night, perfectly right there. I entered a very high leverage short, wrote it back down to the bottom, closed it out, and then I figured it would do about a 50% retracement in the area that it had bounced from. So if you look at where we had our bounce at on the lower here to that top, and then you do a little 50% measurement there. 50% of that would be about 1.12, and look at that. It's right in that range. So that's what I did. I closed it out on a 50% retracement from the low to high. It's basically like if I took this into a very low time frame and threw a fib on there, looked at the 50% line and called it a day, right? So that's how I got in on that. But right now we are pushing back up on that level. Guys, if we break this level, if we get above this level, then we are looking at some interesting stuff, because one of those things is right here. Let's go ahead and pull this on and take a look at that. And then I want to go over here and throw on my fibs. Can we get those in the house? There we go. And I don't need the short term. Nope, I do. I don't need the long term. There we go. So we have this little level right here above us that is sitting at a value area high. That's coming in at about 70,800. As soon as we close a candle above this level of about $68,200, that is going to be a key area where we have now set a long-term, a higher term, higher high. Okay, because I told you guys we were doing all of these lower time or higher time frame, lower lows and lower highs, and so we would be looking at a higher high, finally breaking that other level, getting to the upside. First level we got to get through is at 70,830. But I want to point out right here on Chart Prime's beautiful chart pattern call out, we do have this rising wedge. We got a confirmation breakout there on it. The smart target on this is putting us at about 73,483. What's in that area? Well, it's the 887 that I told you that if we break this and we prove it as support and we're able to bounce off of this 786 on a nice, strong, supported volume retest, then we very likely are going to head to the 887, which is 73,887. Some problematic things that we had, though, on the 12-hour is that the oscillator ribbon is coming to the downside. True 7 has already peaked and came to the downside. We had the overbought. Money flow is now turned red. The only thing bullish on the 12-hour is the volume. So that makes me think that there's a lot of weakness in this move right now, and that there may be some exhausted bulls in the house when it comes to Bitcoin. So I just wanted to show that. I'm going to jump back over to quad chart. We've got some great analysts here, so I'm not going to dive too deep on mine. I'm going to pass it over to TradeFly, see what he's looking at. We'll come back around, hit BC Port Corp, wrap it out with OC TradeFly coming your way, bro.
Right on. You know what I got up. I got the liquidation heat map. We're going to look at the 3-day. Yo, fire all over the place. We got liquidity to the top side, to the bottom side. Like, it's all over, right? Because we have a major area of resistance, and Piper just pointed that out to you, and you'll see it again when we get to my chart. I mean, there you go. They're putting the liquidity right over top of it, whether it's stop losses or they're taking leverage short positions right here where they would get liquidated just over top of that. That's probably high leverage situations where they're going like 100, 150x, doing some craziness. And then you can see that all the way up to 69, 250, right? So it's liquidity city right now. But you have this well within reach too. This is well within striking distance at about 66.5. So either way you go with this, there's liquidity to be cleared. So it's really hard for me to be like, hey, like this is where I think it's going to go. Price action, right? I don't know that liquidity is necessarily going to drive the price action. I would say brace yourself for volatility because you got liquidity on both sides. So there is that opportunity, you get that scam wick, that fake out where it goes and grabs the liquidity on one side and then starts its move to the opposite direction. Very much a thing that could happen. That's what I'm going to be keeping my eye on here in the short term. Hard to really catch a trend on the 3-day. Remember, we like to look at the trend on the 3-day to see, are we kind of trending down? Are we trending up? It's kind of going horizontal. So again, it's not giving me much to work with on the 3-day. Let's go to the weekly real quick. I do think there's some liquidity to the bottom side on the weekly. There is. Yeah. So it's a really hot spot here at about 64.7, 64.5. We kind of looked at that last night on the chart. Locked.
Ready to
there
fire.
It is. So looking at that on the chart, where does that put us in terms of like where can we find a setup for a potential long? And so this is just me trying to get ahead of the situation. You guys know how I like to do at this point. I like to let the price come to me. I find these significant areas with a lot of confluence, and then I start looking at taking a position from there. My area right now is right at the point of control. Okay, the point of control is at about 63K, which would clear out the liquidity to the bottom side. It also just so happens to align with the 0.5, the 200 SMA. And you know, the dynamic reactor is working its way up as well as the 50 SMA. We have confluence like a mo around here at about 63K. All right. So keep your eye on that. And again, I'm not saying that price has to go there, but why not be ready if it does? Right. So that's kind of what I'm banking on right now. If you're looking at some of the indicators, you do see that the daily is bending over a little bit. We're losing a little bit of steam. We had a big move up. We're now printing candles here. We got 3 or 4 that are saying, all right, we're kind of at a decision point. We're losing a little steam. It is kind of showing us a little bit of a topping, you know, pattern, we'll say. And then the 4 hour is saying, hold my beer. All right. Because it wants to break out. It's completely like retesting over and over again. And it's just chopping at the tree. It does want to break out, and you're resetting on the prime oscillator here. So you do see that it's trying. Okay. So be very, very careful. But what do you see here? Definitely a double top on the 4 hour. You got to hit a very clear hit here. Very clear hit again. But RSI overall trend is down, right? So you are losing steam, but it is trying. At the same time, it has printed this little broadening wedge, and it's staying within that. So look for that breakout. I think that's going to give us a little bit of confirmation. You get underneath of these trend lines here, and obviously these aren't going to be perfect. So don't be like, it's on top of your trend line. No, I got that. These aren't perfect. But if it breaks out of this pattern and we start seeing a move to the downside here, that might be our confirmation that, you know, we could be looking for the downside play in terms of clearing out liquidity and coming down to the 0.5. If we break out, you got the 2021 high. That's where you keep your eyes. I really think there'll be some sort of price action off 69K. You'll probably have a little bit of a rejection pullback there, just based on that being a significant number that has played out more times than I can count at this point, where you'll see price action off a 2021 high. So it could be a scalp opportunity. Be ready for that. If you interact with the 2021 high, and that's a clear to 69K. All right. So there is a couple levels for you to look at on Bitcoin. And you know, just trying to get ahead of the price action, seeing where we can find some opportunities. But that's what I got, and I will pass it on to the next guy.
Yeah, there's some. I'm going to show a chart here in a minute from Blackie Chan that he dropped in our trade group. But let's go ahead and jump over to Blackie Chan and see what you got for us, bro. What are you seeing on the chart? How are you feeling about this this current level that we're at, and what's the breakout chances looking like for you, man? You're muted.
Well,
There you go.
oh no, I just had to scroll down to unmute it. The same as you were saying, I also agree we're at a very critical level. This is a weekly chart, and as you can kind of see here, we've finally turned green on your prime oscillator, and you can see that the MACD is finally at that point where it could cross to the top side of the indicator line in the positive area. That does have potential for some upside movement, but if you drop it down to a 1-day, you can kind of see that that MACD indicator could just be a nice little peak up and just curve right back down, because you can see the prime oscillator has got some curvature on it, and we're coming to the top of the range. So for me to really be bullish, I would want to see us take these highs from back here and turn them into support, and kind of more of on a macro outlook. That's more what I've been paying attention to. So for me to be really bullish, I want to see us reclaim those highs and continue a move up on support. If not, I'm looking some of the same levels. TradeFly says this was a massive fair value gap when we pushed on up, and that's starting at 63.1 and ends at 66. So massive fair value gap for us to really come back to and test how market makers are feeling about that price, and if they have the liquidity to buy back up, or if we're just going to come back down through it and kind of retest this other fair value gap that I don't have marked out, and that's sitting down at 61,000. So those are the kind of the levels I had my eye on.
Awesome. Fantastic. OC, let's jump over to you, and then let's bring it back, and let's just talk about what's going on with Bitcoin dominance, because Bitcoin dominance right now pushing on 59% and continuing to the upside. What will that mean for the altcoins? And then we'll get into some altcoin, some TA on alts. So guys, start letting us know in the chat what you would like to see for some altcoins today. We got 4 great analysts here, and we will get those up. So let's go ahead and jump over to OC's chart.
Absolutely. First of all, great movie here, Demolition Man. Every single time that I was, I have also a background. Every single time that I was hearing about the cars and stuff, I just couldn't stop thinking about this movie. So look at, even they called out for PDD right there. All right, talking about Bitcoin. Right here, we are basically at the top of the range in this one. Let me just draw a quick trend line right here, and you see that. Are we breaking it? Well, it's hard to tell because we don't have that big body candle going through it, right? Remember that when I want to see a big area to be broken, I want to see those big body candles going through it, right? Just like in here, just like in here, just like in here. Just like in here. We don't have it just yet, but we're struggling to make that push, right? Just like it was right down here. I mean, let's go to my previous charts in here where I already have it placed out there. This is the top line that I've been talking about for a long time. And if we take a look at the same chart daily or even weekly, remember that I'm looking for a possible bull flag right here to play it out. That target somewhere around 95, 400, somewhere around those areas for the measure target. Remember that I like to measure my target from the bottom move, not from the breakout. So I have a wiggle room, and I have got a better result with that. So what I want to show you guys, it is not about the breakout, it's about the retest, right? So we do have a multi-candle retracement, and now we're bouncing up, but we did not hit that support. Remember that I want to see that breakout being taken, or that support being taken or retested as we had flip of the ribbon. So far, I mean, the flip of the ribbon's mostly in, but at this point it's not confirmed yet. Why? Because we are also bouncing back down. What I want to see a flip of the ribbon confirmation, it is also breaking into the green cloud right there. Why? Because these clouds in here are, for me, like the squeeze momentum indicator. What it tells me is basically whether the next upcoming movement should be either bearish or should be bullish. And the ribbon, it is right now on the red side. So far, I would say that we still have a little bit more bearish side. So just be careful. We could be making a slight double topping here. And we talked about this. Remember, that's why this big area or this big line is in here. Remember that double top is still within play. We need to be cautious. What's going to be my entry after we bounce back down and start moving upwards somewhere around this timing. Why? Because I want to see that ribbon actually making that confirm flip, right, and being into the green area. I don't want to get caught by surprise. What could be happening here if we start breaking to the upside and we never come back down? Well, then let me just adjust my VPVR. I changed a little bit of those levels. Let's get back to something like 17 or 20 levels. Let me click OK. That will give me a little bit less definition, but more chunky areas here to look for. And that is usually a great idea to start looking for. Remember, this is raw volume being added, and this is disparity, or basically a subtraction of that volume, right? What I like to see is to look for these big areas to localize ranging areas, right? For example, this is a big area of ranging, right? And do I have another bigger ranging? Some sort of it, right? So at this point, I can maybe be predicting that we're going to be in case once again within that slight range that we've been talking about for so long, or since Monday, since we started making that push up through. So far, be patient. I would be placing two alerts. Let me place them right here live. I'm going to be placing one up here at 68K 628. Another one right down here, somewhere around 65 952. So those are going to be basically my range extensions. What I mean, basically, when I start hitting this upwards, I want to see that flip of the ribbon. Maybe I jump into a late entry, then going for this area right here for a little bit, maybe another range, and then a blast to the upside. If I start falling to the downside and breaking this other line, I will be looking to hit the dynamic reactor, enter for a slight long, going back to this area, enter for a short, and then aim for once again this area right down here. So basically just playing out the double top short that could be implemented right as we were breaking the 65 952 area. Other than that, that's what I got on Bitcoin. Turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I think we're all pretty much seeing some similar approaches on Bitcoin right now, but we are starting to push back up on that resistance line. So we're going to keep an eye on that throughout the show. But we got a long list there, OC, if you want to start that list, and we'll start knocking those out, or just go back to the chat there. But TradeFly, you got anybody in the chat needs updating? I see we got a lot of people that have dropped in since we opened the show this morning.
Yeah, let's take a look-see, man. I mean, there's definitely way more people in the chat here. Retro Mike Tech, shout out to you. I saw you in here. Cash Oak, how you doing? Little Fish, is it? Or did somebody, was that a comment? Yeah, Little Fish, good morning.
Yeah.
What's up? How you doing? Let's see. Who else we got in here? I saw that. I said Retro Mike Tech. Did I say Harp? Did I get Harp earlier? What's up to you? Brokoshi, No Dinero, how you doing?
Yeah, he asked me for a whole
Let's scroll
Bitcoin.
down.
He dared me to give him a Bitcoin. So
Wick's wife, Fine 89, our latest moderator. Welcome, lady. I hope Wick 589 is in the house too. Let's see here. The Dusty Hunt, how you doing? DB Cooper's in the house. Let's see who else we got. I already gave you a little shout out. Alex Prolific Crypto. He said, "What's up? What's up? How you doing, man?" Let's see. Mark Dutch is in the house, and I think that about wraps up some of them. Hopefully, if I missed you, I'm sorry. I'll keep looking for you. I'll update you throughout the show.
Yeah, that's my alumni. You know what I mean?
let's jump over and let's check out this one chart. I want to show this, and then I want to go look at. I want to go take a look at the Bitcoin dominance. But this chart here, guys, this came from Lunar Beach's crypto, and he dropped it in our trade setups. This is one of his bearish scenarios on Elliott waves. So if you guys are not a member of the trade group over in our Discord, guys, it's really simple. We are now set up on WAP. You can go right in there. It's $19.99 a month for the first 50 people that join. And we're going to be giving away $101 to one of these members that are on the new upperclassmen setup for membership, $101 on Halloween day. So just wanted to show that. But that is how you get access to these amazing Elliott Wave charts that we got dropped here from Lunar Beach's crypto. And then also we've got other trades. OC dropped some in there. I dropped some in there. Like there's a bunch of us in there just dropping charts all the time. But He's looking at a bearish scenario, by the way, on Elliott Wave, where we retrace from where we currently are in price, right in that range there. And then we come down to about that $63,000 range, Crux. Do a little bounce up to around the $65,000, $66,000 range. Come down to this trend line. And he doesn't have the how far back this goes, but I'm pretty sure that this has got multiple touches on it. And that would be somewhere around a $59,000 range. And then a November. If you look down here, he's looking for a November breakout, not an October breakout. So just one of the mini charts that that we have over there. He also dropped some bullish scenarios, stuff like that. I'll show you over here real fast. He's got some bullish scenario ones that he also dropped. Lots of trade setups in here, though, guys, and you guys can get all of that plus more just by jumping over on WAP and joining us for a exclusive lock-in price and a chance to win a $101 on Halloween. Let's go ahead and jump into the chart, though. I want to show you Bitcoin dominance because it's absolutely crushing it. Yep, Clean Spark. That's one of the ones I'm going to talk about in a bit. 59.01% right now. Bitcoin is continuing to break up. You can see here on the smart money concepts from Chart Prime, we did get a break of structure moving up to the upside, guys. I'm watching that 60%. Really, I'm watching about 60.34%. And the reason is, if you look at the sequencing that I have on the Fibonacci's on this, I had this range down here pretty much pinged out solid. We got really good checks here on the fib levels for the 50 and for the 382. And I do believe that the next level that we should watch would be a 60.33%. I don't see us going to 60 on Bitcoin dominance and not testing into that golden pocket range. We also do have a long-term trend line here that has played for a long, long time right there on Bitcoin dominance. And I'm watching it too. And that would actually put it at around a 62%. So absolutely plausible to see those levels on Bitcoin dominance. Let's go ahead and let's start the round robin on some charts, man. I want to start out with Clean Spark, and then we'll come back around and we'll just go, counterclockwise here with TradeFly and then OC and back to Blackie Chan. So Blackie Chan, if you check the live chat in the Discord, you can see where OC is putting all of the requests that we had, and you can just grab whichever one you want there or one of your favorites. It doesn't matter. Let's go jump into Clean Spark on my charts here. And let's check this out. Guys, we had talked about this level of a breakout here a while back. Someone asked me to look at Clean Spark. I believe it was early this week or maybe late last week. I think it was early this week, though. And I said, look, we got a confirmed breakout. Smart target's coming in right below the golden pocket. Shout out to Chart Prime. Nailed it again with that AI algorithm they got in there. But the level that I said to watch for support was the 887, $8.48. We have held it this entire week. We got a breakout straight through, broke the 786. We are now pushing on the 0.66 at $12.64 after hitting that smart target. But I do want to point something out. We do have the volume looking pretty decent. Money flow looks like it's in the green and about to curve back up again. But the true 7 has fell. The downtrend arrow has printed on the oscillator, and we do have an oscillator ribbon that has now flipped into a bearish mode. Guys, watch for a rejection here on this 0.66. Where could we go to? I would suspect that we come back to test this value area low coming off of the fixed range volume profile that dates all the way back to November of last year. It's almost 1 year old. We have now gotten above that level of value area low, so we need to watch for us to get a retest on that, because if you take a look here, let me get rid of the Mexican spaghetti. We had a little pullback as soon as we broke above it, and we did not really come back and test it clean there. So I could see us rejecting off of the 0.66, coming back to retest that level. That would give us a chance to come in for a retest, get it confirmed, give all this a chance to cool off down here, and then make a run for that golden pocket. And that's what I'm seeing on Clean Spark. Let's go ahead and jump over to TradeFly and see what he's seeing on his chart. What you're looking at, bro.
Right on. I got Soul pulled up. Let's go ahead and get that going. Let's go. So Soul's on the daily, and then Crux. I just gave you a little shout out in the chat here. If you could update the security settings on the Discord, I would appreciate that very, very much. That way I can reply to the guys in the chat. All right. So on the daily, there is a huge target area we've been looking at for quite some time, and that is about 162. We did hit that a couple times. You got a little bit of a bearish divergence off of there, and then ultimately it came back down, started retesting some of these areas, and we have formed this trend line. All right. So we now have this trend line. We now have, if you go over to the daily, let's look at it real quick. So I want to show you some of the confluence there. All right. You got the point of control, you got the dynamic reactor, you got the 50 SMA, all in one area at about 144. All right. So if we do pull back, that is a target area for me for an entry. All right. 144. Remember that. And then 162 is your high side target. And we have this ascending triangle right now that's building up. And what you can see is it's building pressure to the upside. All right. This is a bullish pattern. And we have retested this 162 area multiple times. I mean, this is close. It's at 160, almost 160. So, we can call it good enough, right? There's a little bit of a range there, but we're retesting over and over again. So do not be surprised if we ultimately make a break for it over 162 here soon. And that is just based on continuation of the trend for Bitcoin and the rest of crypto. So I don't think it's really diverging. There's not a lot of news out there that's going to really push Sol in another direction. So just keep an eye on it. If Bitcoin breaks, I think we're very much in play to see a Solana break. If we do pull back for Bitcoin, which, I'm kind of hoping for a little bit, is because then I will re-enter on Bitcoin at, what do we say, 63K. And then I'll be looking to re-enter on Solana at about 144. So those are two target areas for me. That's very simply what I'm going to be looking at for Solana. So again, you got ascending triangle, building pressure. You got confluence here at 144. Definitely some target areas. We would like to see this reset, but it looks like it's headed in that direction right now. So that's very quick Solana look.
Awesome. Let's jump over to OC. See what you got, OC. What you looking at, bro?
Absolutely. So I was looking at here at Turbo and Tia, just also to call out a week's trade right there. So basically, last week he was somewhere around, if I'm not mistaken, he was entering somewhere around those two areas right here. Very similar. I mean, right now they've been just jumping and going like crazy. At this point, we have a big retracement on Turbo. This also looks to me like a possible bull flag at this point. So if you were thinking about maybe jumping back in or jumping in here, first of all, you need to be very careful. Why? Because we are below the zero line, which means that we do not have momentum to keep pushing upwards. So this could be a fake out or a basically just the center of a possible cricket head and shoulders like that, right? So this breakout that we could be imminent could be just a fake out because we are below the zero line here. So just be careful with that one. I think it's time for me to start adding my indicators. All of my big support is right down here based on volume. So I mean, a retracement all the way down there could be possible if Bitcoin also does a retracement. We are bouncing off a very high, so basically most important daily support. So remember, that's why we're predicting or that we're calling that possible breakout. But because we are below the zero line, this could be the fake out. So basically not breaking above the previous highs, all right? So just be careful on this possible movement that is imminent at this point. What else do we got? If we start adding a couple of our order blocks, we can see the magnetic push and pull between a soft and a loud order block. So which one is going to be pulling harder? I would say the loud order block. So if for any reason we start pushing back down with a big wick here, that will be for me a possible entry as we keep pushing forward up to the zero line. Guys, this is important. I want to see this push forward as we go into the loud order block. And that is just to start creating a couple of divergence in here, right? At this point, when I start taking the loud order block, that's when I'm going to be jumping back in. Something to acknowledge that we are almost twice as big or negative, which means that the bounce of the of this loud order block is not going to be that long lasting. All right, so once again we could be rolling back down. So just be careful with Turbo at this point right here. I do see a little bit of weakness. Maybe that's why we pulled out of the trade a couple of days ago. And very quick to Dia, just to make that parity. We got a great bounce out of the dynamic reactor here. At this point, we have a very nice prime score, which means that we're bullish. Something that I don't like in here, it is the bearish divergence. Right here, we're having a secondary lower low, but we don't have a lower high, but we don't have a lower low. All right, so it's going to be critical to see how the rebound plays out, because it seems like it wants to make a goose head. And remember that a goose head, usually it is a further move to the upside before it drop back down. All right, so this goose head might be predicting a further move to the upside before a big money a big move down. All right, so just be careful. Once again, entry points of TIA basically at the loud order block. We are on the loud order block, but we need another support area. I would, at this point, what I'll be looking at, it is something like the money flow. So for that, let me just make my oscillator big in here, and this is going to be the money flow that I'm going to be looking at. I want to see it moving up to the upside, right? If you don't have the plus, don't worry, you can mimic it with the money flow right here, going to the settings, into the trend fusion oscillator, clicking OK, and you will have not one money flow, but two money flows. All right. I want to see this money flow breaking through the zero line here, and I want to see this money flow flipping up. So basically, that's what I want to see on money flow before I start jumping into a long position. Once again, possible area of entry at 5.6. That's what I got on those two assets that comes in a bundle. So throwing it back to you guys.
Fantastic. Shout out to Crux. We had TradeFly not able to post messages in our Discord, and Crux, just like that, fixed it because he's a genius with that stuff. We appreciate you, Crux. Let's go ahead and jump over to the Lackey Chan, BC Port Corp. What you got for us, man?
I got Near pulled up. It is one of my favorite alts, right beside Injective. So, as I talked about on Good Morning Crypto, I have been talking about the 50% line on a fib retracement a lot. And we got some bounces off of it this week, which I had been looking for. And then I kind of looked at the possibility of some downside. And what I had said I wanted to see was a higher low. We ended up making a higher low. You can see lower low, higher low here. And so what I would kind of look at is us to pull back into this fair value gap that we made on the way down. It starts at $4.84, and then kind of see from there that there was some selling pressure, but I'd want to see us get above it, get to that halfway mark, which is that $4.90 range, before we kind of maybe have a slight pullback and continuation back up to this $4.93 range, which is that 50% line on a fib retracement. This is a fib retracement that has been pulled from March. So it has been playing out very, very well. And what I would really like to see is us to turn that into support. But if you take Bitcoin into consideration, it looks like that plan might just turn into another resistance area. So that is something to keep in mind, that $4.90 range is a nice area to get to, but we might not hold, because this is kind of been a downtrend if you kind of pull the macro picture out. This is the high, lower high, heavy selling pressure. So just another area that could be extreme contention for Near. If you look at the prime oscillator, there is some divergences here, but your prime oscillator is kind of tipping over. Your money flow is kind of tilting back down, and your MACD was kind of getting some curvature the other day, but it looks like it's starting to tilt back down on a 4-hour. The 1-hour chart is looking like it could get a little bit of a pump though. So in the short time, you can kind of see here there might be a slight move up because that money flow on the 1 hour is still looking nice. And that's why I'm looking at that fair value gap. I don't know if we'll get the closure on that fair value gap though. So that's all I got for near.
Awesome. Let's go check out CASPA. We had a request for that. I want to talk about this chart here, guys. So this is the blue trend line that I've talked about for a long time. It was my buy-in at 3 cents, my buy-in at 4.5. If you guys have been here, you know this. I've got some weird lighting things going on. Hold on. How can I see that? Yeah. Had some white dots coming in off of from the sun off of my blinds there, so I fixed that for you. Looking at this blue line though, guys, moving it over here. This is the level that I talked about us coming down to retest when we were losing all of our levels of the fib extensions here. Okay, so when we lost it here, we did have shout out to Chart Prime. If you guys aren't using it, you guys are missing out. There was a breakout call with a smart target. This automatically gives you the target right there at about 13.3 cents. We have hit that level, so that's been cleared. This is now played out as a positive gain trade call. Then you look at the level that we just bounced off of. This is where I was talking about that. Right there, and that's where we got our bounce. The problem that I'm seeing right now on CASPA, besides Retro Mike Tech saying dump it to zero, is that the phase 618, so it's the 6.618 fib extension at 12.8 cents is being tested right now as resistance. And so if we get the rejection off of that, which I think we actually might, especially when I come over here and I look at what's going on with the higher time frames on the oscillators, you'll see money flow like on the 3-day steep downward. The volume is almost non-existent, and it looks like we are curving again on the oscillator ribbon for more downside too. That is not a good look at all for CASPA on the higher time frames. Looking at this right now, I think that we're going to come back down and retest this trend line again. But if we break this, guys, we're easily heading down to that 11.2 cent range. If we break that, guys, we got to go back here a ways. Let me turn on the fixed range volume profile. Let me get that in there. There we go. I think it's actually another one that I have. Let's do that. There we go. And then I can turn that one off. Perfect. If we lose that level, I want to pull this back all the way to the beginning, and you'll see where this level is at that I'm talking about for this trend line. There we go. Actually, if we lose that, we are looking way low, way low, guys. I would say we're probably looking at about 7.9 cents if we break this trend line to come back and find any type of support. So, CASPA not looking too good, but we did get that. We did get that test on the trend line. As of right now, still holding as support. So. I'm so long, it's wrong. What's up, Alex O Crypto in the house? How you doing, man? That's what I'm seeing on CASPA. I don't know where OC went. He phased out on us. He ghosted us. Let's kick it back around and let's see what else you guys got. We still got about 11 minutes. I think we can knock out a couple of more of these altcoins. TradeFly, let's kick it over to you and see what you got for us, bro.
Right on, right on. I'm not going to sit here and try to project where Sui's going. All right. It has had an epic move up, and there's a lot of, sentiment, like good sentiment behind this token right now. So I'm not going to be like, oh, we're due for a pullback. I'll tell you what I've seen over and over again with these coins that have made these like really big run ups with like CAS when it made a run up. There's been a bunch of them. All right. You're always like, I missed it. I'm not going to be able to get back in. And what do we see almost every time? It comes back down to the 0.5 or the 618. Almost every time. Not saying it's done, right? Not saying the move is done. Not saying this thing's going to zero. None of that. But again, I'm going to go back to kind of my position on what I do as a swing trader. I like to kind of sit there, wait, let the price come to me. If it comes to me, cool. If it doesn't, we go look for another setup. No biggie. So let me give you some target areas. All right. On the daily, one of the areas I'm looking at right now is going to be the 618 for very obvious reasons, besides that it's a 618. But looking at that, you have some confluence now. You have the dynamic reactor moving up. You got the 200 SMA is going to move up here eventually. You got, the 50's already crossed. So you actually already had a 50 and a cross of the 200. Let's not get wrapped around that. A lot of times that's lagging and the move has already been made before it actually crosses. But what am I looking at on the chart that says, hey, the 618 might be a good area to set an alert? Well, you got the value area high for the entire range. All right, that aligns. And then if you just quickly come back left on the chart, what do you see right here? Well, you see support, you see a retest. So we have now flipped support into resistance and then a breakdown. All right, that is something that I always look for. All right, so when I see that, I'm like, okay, this horizontal level is going to likely act as support. So we have confluence, all right, between 3-4 different things on the chart right now. I think that 1.4 to 1.3 is a nice little spot for you on SUI to set an alert, set it and forget it. Okay, so remember that 1.3 to 1.4. Might as well just do 1.4 to stay on the high side of it. And if the price comes back down to you, you'll get an alert and then you'll have an opportunity. If it doesn't, no big deal. All right, maybe this thing just goes up and away. That could happen, but there's no way for us to logically really predict that. If you're looking at the oscillator, because it's moving so hard up and right, the issue is you're going to get these hits of bearish divergence over and over again. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to break down, okay? The oscillator is an oscillator, understand that. And when it gets to the top side because of the strength of the move, then it has a tendency sometimes to just kind of get popped out and just keep hitting at the top side of the oscillator here. So be very, very careful with that. Don't get too wrapped around it. But that being said, we are printing bearish divergence on the daily. So there could be an opportunity for it to pull back a little bit. But again, I would say, you know, the 382, yeah, you could get some price action off of that. I mean, really, each one of these fib levels, you can see a little bit of horizontal levels of support and resistance if you just go back left on the chart. But again, I think my target area would be about 1.3 to 1.4. That's where I would set an alert. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and do it. We can do this together. Let's get right over it. So it's maybe about 1.3845. There you go. Let's set an alert. And I'm telling you, I've seen it happen over and over again with these coins that have made these really hard moves up and right. Again, they have a tendency to pull back, but it's still a clean, like, look for the chart. Understand that the structure would still be good. And this is one of the things that I take into consideration too, when I'm like, all right, like that's a big pullback, but is it something I want to go long on? Let's draw it out so you see what it looks like. Okay. Now, when you start doing that, you look at it and you're like, look at that. Still good. All right. So we can still be bullish on this, even if it has a big pullback to this area. So that is what I'm looking at on SUI. I know it's a hot coin right now. A lot of people are very bullish on it, but just wanted to show that to you guys on the chart.
Awesome. Looks like Alexandra G was going to tell a dad joke about pizza, but she didn't want to do it in the chat because it was a little too cheesy. So let's go ahead and jump over to OC, guys. See what you got there, bro.
Absolutely. Well, right here I got Ethereum. So we've been talking about Ethereum for a long time. Remember that. Let's go back in time frame, or let's go to the daily very quickly so we can see how is it playing out based on the macro. Let's go to the 4-day better, right? It will be giving us a little bit more of overview on what's happening. Also, let me just clear up. There we go. We can see that we've been into this range for a long time. We come back down, we do a little range, we burst through it, we do a little range, we burst through it, and then we do a little range. We burst through it once again, and we do that little range, right? As you can see, the burst movement has been decreasing over time until right now. We can see that this is not much of a difference, right? At this point, also, we can identify a lower range or a base range in here, which has not been moving neither up or down. That's why it's called a range, right? And we can find or define those two areas. Also, something to note is that we are having this candle is not yet done, guys. It is not closed as a 4-day candle. But previously, we closed the candle as a doji and then reversed. So it seems like we're pushing to do the same thing, basically on the session candle. So just be careful on the macro area. We can still do a run up to the top of that range, still within the same candle. So just be careful. Let's go to the 4-hour and analyze for a shorter time frame. What happened on the previous 4-day candle? Remember, we had that range, the 4-day candle. And then because it was a doji candle, well, then it came back down. It seems like we're doing the same thing, but not at the top. which means that we could still be making a push to the upside. Another thing that is different this time, it is that if I do a straight line, and not to be confused, I'm going to do a horizontal line here, like that. I would say pretty much we have a flat top, right? And then if I do another trend line in here, grabbing this one and this other one, seems that we have a flat top pennant. Usually flat tops or flat whatever break to the flat area. That's important to know, because if it would have been the other way around, we could be saying that the most likely scenario would be breaking down, but that is not the case, right? The flat is at the top, just ignoring that candle, right? That's important to note. Why? Because that gives us less potential breakout to the upside because of this candle. Nonetheless, most of the candles are respecting that level, which means along with that we have a flip of the ribbon, and we've been waiting for this flip of the ribbon for a long time. It is not yet on the green side, but if we can make it to the green side, we could be bursting through this area and making a sweep of the highs. All right, I think this is going to be a great opportunity to start putting into where are the liquidations at, or the most important liquidations. As you can see, the liquidations to be grabbed, either regardless what it does, I mean, it's going to liquidate some people. I think it's going to be much more profitable to come back down first to the dynamic reactor, then come back up in here. I think that is going to be how it's going to be playing out. And that is because we have easy to grab liquidity, and then long been sitting there liquidity. Maybe this will create a sweep of the lows, then create a little bit more liquidity up here to then be grabbed. All right. I mean, we are on resistance. Not make no mistake. If you're looking for an entry, I would be entering after a breakout of the trend line. This is going to be for a long-term scenario. Why? Because we have had this huge range and a ton of opportunities to jump into that range, right? So jumping into a possibility of a fake out, for me, that's not fun. I'm not going to be putting my money into that risk, all right? But if you want to jump back in and maybe take the risk, look for that retracement at 2,518, or wait for that breakout at 2,690. Once again, I wouldn't be taking those areas for trading. I would just waiting for a breakout retest, because it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and then off we go. So other than that, turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. We're going to wrap it out with BC Port Corp. He's going to bring in some injective for us, and then we're going to come back and take one last look at what I'm seeing on Bitcoin right now. And Sui and Cass all in one chart, guys. So stick around for that. BC, what you got for us, bro?
A small comment on that. I actually made money off injective on one of BC's call. I don't know.
Did
He
you?
posted it somewhere. Yeah, he posted it somewhere or was talking about it. He was like, "Hey, something about injective." I was like, "You know what? I'll take a flyer on that." So I threw like $500 at it. And yeah, man. So I owe you a beer.
Shakalaka!
I owe you a beer.
Awesome. Well, we can have that beer in Vegas.
My man. Let's go.
Awesome. Well, I do have injective pulled up. Let me zoom in a bit. You can kind of see we had finally broken above this downwards trending resistance line that had been going since about March. And we've kind of just been waffling around above it. The platinum pocket is sitting right below us at 17, and we've got the golden pocket sitting right above us at 24. You can kind of see back here, we had hit hard off of the golden pocket and rejected very nicely back down to that resistance line and turned it into support. So as we've kind of moved sideways here a little bit, you can see that the money flow has been staying very nice. This is a 4-hour chart, and you can kind of see here we've got the prime oscillator, which is showing a little bit of a reversal coming in. I do have a tentative trend line drawn here to maybe have a bounce point off of. There's one touch here, and I'm just looking for a third touch. This would be a nice area to kind of pull back down to and make a continuation back up towards that golden pocket and $24. I would just kind of look to see if we can make that trend line more of a secure trend line with a third touch. If you look at it on the daily chart, you can kind of see that there's decent upward potential for injective. It did just get an update, so there is going to be plenty of money that will be flowing into that. You can kind of see with the MACD, you've got curvature pointed to the upside, and you've got heavy inflows on your daily chart, as well as your prime oscillator looking extremely green. So I'm looking for that $24 mark on injective. It's going to be $24.80. Kind of all I got for it. I'll turn that back over to you, Piper.
Awesome. I was reading the text message from FD White. He's texting me the live stream. But shout out to FD White, guys. If you guys don't catch him on his channel, which I'm sure Alexander G's getting ready to drop a link right now, you should go watch some of his videos he does over there. But most importantly, catch him on the #1 show here on Piper Academy Monday through Thursday evening with TradeFly below me there doing the crypto nightcap. They are bringing you guys some amazing, amazing content. So let's jump over and let's take one last look-see here. Hashtag look-see for TradeFly there at what I'm seeing on the chart here with Bitcoin at look-see, man. Got to take a look-see. Let's take a look at this and see. I'm looking at the Piper Sniper kit. And it's funny because today we talked about CASA, we talked about SUI, and I want to show you guys what's going on here with the target lock. If you guys don't know, this little thing down here is called the spotter. And what it does is you can put 10 assets in it and you can select, what exchange and all that. And then you can select it to give you indication on target hold and target lock for bearish or bullish. And then just set a single alert and it will alert you when any of your 10 assets meet the criteria for the trade setup. What we're looking for is double green, a target lock green, target hold green, or a target lock red, target hold red, which was what we're seeing here. I want to show you the only one that is red on my list right now is CASA. The only one that's green right now is SUI. I'm waiting for Bitcoin to trigger that, and that should happen if we continue in this range that we're in or to the upside. We should get a target lock here on Bitcoin right there sometime in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. Guys, that would put us right into November, sort of in line with what LBC was talking about in his 5-wave Elliott theory for some bullish and bearish scenarios of breakouts for that 5-stage movement to the upside. What I'm watching here is right now is that we're hitting on this on the fibs. Guys, these are dynamic fibs. They're auto printed. They're based on the previous candles. And you can see how great these have played in the golden pocket for support. We got all of our bounce here on the lower level. We do have more sell volume than we do buying volume over here. You can see that's what this line is over here on the side. But we're on this platinum pocket again. And if we can hold this and continue to the upside, that will make our trigger for the target lock happen even quicker on Bitcoin. And then we'll have a double green. At that point, I'm going to be looking to go in strong on a 12-hour chart because this indicator, when it fires, it typically plays extremely well, especially if you have the patience to wait for a retest on previous support or resistance. So what I'm going to be watching for is this. Because of CASA and SUI already firing in opposite directions, that's showing me market volatility exists in the altcoins. So Bitcoin is going to be the key feature to watch. If Bitcoin gets that there, I will start to see a lot of these reds flip back to green. Probably not CASA, maybe, I don't know. But on ADA, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Ondo, Chainlink. And when that starts to happen, I will be going in heavily on Bitcoin. And then once Bitcoin starts to find its levels where it starts to consolidate again, then I will start to move over hard into the altcoins. And that's my play on the Piper Sniper kit. If you guys want that indicator, you can get it using my link. It's included in the price of Chart Prime. It is an exclusive indicator just for my link or with TA Plus, Chart Prime Plus. So you guys need to go check that out. Amazing spotter tool. You can walk away from the charts, go outside, touch some grass. That's what I'm doing right now. Touch some grass and then, move on. So, guys, that is all we have time for today. BC, pleasure having you on today. It looks like next week we're going to have FD White come on as a guest to join us. So that's going to be awesome. And then, of course, TradeFly. He's got his 9 to 5, or his 5 to 9, or his 9
to 7,
9
baby.
at night to
10 to
5 in
7.
the morning. He's got his crazy schedule, but he'll be here for a couple of days next week. But definitely will be on the Crypto Nightcap, guys. Don't forget to tune in to BC Port Corp and Lunar Beaches Crypto every morning for the pre-market open on Good Morning Crypto. And then, of course, OC and I will be right back here next week on Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. TradeFly and BC, I'll let you guys give the people some outro. TradeFly, what do you got for them on the way out, man?
Hey, man, come to my screen real quick. I'm going to give a quick plug. I've been slacking on this. It's 2 days in a row. I forgot to mention that not only are we giving away $101 here on the morning show, we're actually giving away $100 on the nightcap. So Crypto Nightcap, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday. Guess what? On October 31st, Halloween, we're going to be giving away 100 USDT. All right, that is very simple. To get into that, all you have to do is register through our affiliate link. I'll look at the UID numbers. I will plug those in to a wheel, and then on Halloween, I'm going to spin that puppy, and someone's account is going to magically have 100 USDT. But I'm going to up it today. I'm going to up it because they did 101 here. I'm going to add a couple bucks of TradeFly's money because we need to do $102.
I pump those numbers up. Those are rookie
sure.
numbers in this racket.
Yeah. We're gonna up. We're going to up this to 102 just to give away a little bit more than the morning show because we're doing it right on the Crypto Nightcap.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I guess we're going to have to go to 103. BC, what do you got, man? What do you got, bro? What do you got for the people on the way out? Pump up your show, man. Let's talk about your show for a second.
It was definitely a pleasure to be here with all of y'all. I really enjoy it. Me and LBC were talking the other day about, since everyone else is doing a giveaway, we might just have to do a giveaway too on October 31st. So we will work out those details. And if you wanna win that, you're gonna tune in for that Good Morning Show. So
I love it.
we do all the news alpha in the morning. So
yes, you do.
I hear 103. 103.
No,
going once.
No. We were shooting for that lovely number, 69.
There it is. There it is.
All right, guys, that's all we got time for today. We're about to go over and raid the frat house with the frat mom. She's over there waiting for us right now. Randy Hipper going in right after this. So you're going to redirect, guys. Thanks for joining us today here on the Morning Market Report on Piper Academy. We'll be back here next Monday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, economic data, and everything. You need to have knowledge because knowledge is profit here at the Academy. Guys, this weekend, go out, touch some grass, spend some time with family. If you're going to trade with the Piper Sniper Kit. That way you ain't got to watch the charts and you can focus on your family. It'll let you know when it's time to trade, guys. We'll catch you next week. Have a great weekend. Peace.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling up the wheels flow low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. TradeFly, get the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling up the wheels flow low. Sound off. To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude.